Hey, my name is Luke Manvegi. I'm going to talk to you today about owning your story, turning experience into influence, impact, income, and healing. I personally believe that every leader carries a story, and today I'm going to share just a little bit of my story with you all. So I had to sit back and I had to think of what have I really accomplished in my life? And in that, I said, what is going to be my legacy? And I believe that, I'm a project or a prodigy of other veterans and entrepreneurs who invested time in coaching and mentoring me. And I said, well, I have over 2 decades of leading, 2 decades of doing, 2 decades of rolling my sleeves up and making the impossible possible. And I figured, well, what is going to be my legacy? Well, this might be part of it. This is something I hope to help make the world a better place. So I created something called the Discipline Code. It's one of a 6-book stack and a workbook and other things. We got videos, we have training, we have all these other great things in it. But the Discipline Code is really what I see as a comprehensive guide where I want to leave veterans or entrepreneurs or leaders of industry kind of on my way of thinking. Now, I'm not saying my way is the only way. It's not. It's just a perspective. And I believe it's a perspective that's worked well for me. So I partnered with Valor and Ventures Media. You can purchase the book here if you're interested, but Valor and Venture Media is helping me launch my book. And this is called The Discipline Code. So not only does Valor and Venture Media help publish the book, Valor and Venture Media is also publishing magazines. It's called Valor Venture Magazine, where they take veterans and CEOs and let them tell and showcase their stories. They help them publish other books. They also do live in-person hybrid events. They also have something called Valor Venture Digital News. It's pretty amazing. And they have their own podcast, but their podcast series isn't just about like a single podcast. It's like, hey, let's help encompass and help launch voices of veterans and entrepreneurs nationally or globally and help have a one-stop shop to help launch that. They also do an entire training series, as you can see here with the Discipline Code. They do an entire training series that's bespoke, and they do even more. They partner with other ecosystem partners. They help launch a website, training series, CRM, automation, and get your training that's made specifically out there. And they do more. They even help you with newsletters and blogs. And in that whole talent attraction to help you get booked on talking platforms such as the Veteran Coaching Network. So anyways, check out Valor Adventures Media. Okay, so let's talk about the book. So yes, my name is Luke Manvegi, a 20-year vet and business leader. My mission here is to translate high-stakes military operational planning into corporate enterprise value. So I'm hoping that my impact is helping the next the 500 top 500 executives, if you will, help them. But my goal is those veteran executives. I want them to come in and help us work together in making and transforming America today. So folks, let me share a story with you. The story is simply as this. When I retired from the Army, I was picked up from a Fortune 500 company to be a chief of staff for the global supply chain. The company had over 35,000 people in it. And one day, they laid me off. And they laid off 15% of the company because of AI or because of they're looking at transforming certain things for the company. So what I decided to do is simply this. Let me help showcase veterans who are thought leaders and help them package their thought leadership, because folks, veterans who leave the military don't always leave and get put in a job with that same level. What happens is they end up becoming managers, project managers, and they do great in it because it's something they've always done, but they've also managed billion-dollar budgets. They've managed, in some cases, thousands of troops. Where does that equivalent? It doesn't. Whereas you got folks who are in corporate America and, I was a VP of this or a manager of that, and they get moved right over. Oh, you're a VP, let's move you to president. Or you were a manager, let's move you to senior manager or director. you see it's kind of an inverse. And what we realize with the Veteran Coach Network and partnering with Valor Venture Media is that we're on the mission to transform America's perspective of veterans. Why is that so key? Because who's the founder of Walmart? Sam Walton. Who is the founder of Eli Lilly? He was an Army colonel. My point is this: leaders of industry have been veterans. Now, I'm not going to say it's direct one for one, but let's share our perspective so we can transform this together. And that's what I'm on a journey, and that's my mission with the Veteran Coach Network. And let me just get to my, here we go. So we believe in this book, we talk about authority is not a personality trait. It's the operational reality where authority is the ability to produce consistent results through others over time without being present. In the military, we call this the discipline initiative. So we say, hey, here's your right limits, here's your left limits, and we coach them, we mentor them, we develop them. And what we're really doing, what I would say the secret sauce is we have people, process, systems, and quite frankly, we coach them and train them to fulfill those functions. So what we say that there's a shift, and this shift has to happen. So a lot of times folks start a business and they grow so fast, and because it grew so fast, they didn't have the proper system. They didn't put in place the proper process. They didn't integrate the proper technology. They just jumped down from technology to the next technology to the next technology. And by doing so, they failed in the shift of how did I coach and mentor and guide my staff I have? And what happens is it becomes a toxic atmosphere. And because it becomes a toxic atmosphere, they lose the trust of the folks that work for them, the ones who started the business with. They start looking for other jobs. They may not say it to you. What happens is they stop answering your calls, stop answering your texts. And because you're down, because you didn't put in the proper system or the proper process. And you're looking at them, you're like, what happened? Why is no one listening? Why did I lose my responsiveness? Well, you lost your trust. So what we're saying here with this system today, we're saying we're going to help you with the discipline code. We believe it's a bottom stack of a top stack. We believe it's a foundry program. You got to start with that behavior. And without discipline, command becomes a performance and execution becomes chaos. You cannot build that legacy. That legacy we believe in on a fractured foundation. And what I believe is that by having this foundry, by learning and executing the discipline code, you're on your foundation process of the pyramid. But what are some of those challenges? Well, folks, from my perspective, literally from the foxhole or from the military, from the battlefield to the boardroom, I believe that leadership fails quietly before it fails publicly, meaning they stop responding to the text. Those reports you used to get, you're not getting them in sequence anymore. But you know what else is happening? In that root cause analysis, this is what else is happening. You've changed your expectations. It used to be, I need 1, 2, and 3, but now you're saying I need 1 with 100 different tasks, 2 with another 100 tasks, and 3 with another 100 tasks. So what's happening in this process is you've changed your mark. You've communicated past your folks and you changed your standard, and therefore you broke that boundary of trust because you didn't have the proper systems and in place. So it's about people, process, systems layered with the appropriate amount of technology. As you grow your technology, you grow your team. So how does this help? Well, your board sees this as volatility. So now you're losing your board's buy-in. Your investors see this as risk. So why are they interested in investing if it's chaos? And your team, they're confused because on day one, you started as the most empathetic leader, charismatic, and they're like, wow, I will follow this person to the ends of the earth. But in your journey of entrepreneurship or your journey of growing your department, your journey of growing your company, what's happened is you lost them at the seams because your ability to communicate with them, the frustration came out. It went from, I will listen, to, why is he telling me this noise? See, what happens is you have to be a humble leader. You have to always be an empathetic leader. Some folks always say, well, tomorrow I'll do that. No, the answer is today. It's an in the moment action. Hopefully, by attending the Veteran Coaching Network, you listen to the Pauls, you listen to the Sergeant Qs, you listen to the Zekes out there and understand that the noise is about slowing down so you can move faster with the right and correct systems in place. See, a good leader never blames their team, never blames someone else. They take ownership for it and they execute it appropriately. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the 3-stranded rope. Why is that so important, the 3-stranded rope? Because the one strand can snap. 2 strands, a little better. And for the folks who are in the Navy, the folks who are in the Coast Guard, you know this because I have a captain's license. I've been to the sea schools. And what I'm going to tell you is that rope, when you're out in the water, is the difference between life and death. And that rope, if you're a climber, you know that you have to treat that rope appropriately. You don't leave it out in the sun if you can help it. You want to make sure that rope is put in and it's properly taken care of. And then when you go to use it, your life is the difference of every strand in that rope. And I'm going to tell you folks that willpower fails under pressure, but the systems do not. So that 3-stranded rope, if you layer it appropriately, you've treated it right, and you've been able to cultivate and make sure that rope has been protected, I'm going to tell you, make sure you're putting your systems into place, your processes into place, and you teach your team, hey, this is important. It's not going to fall to that one rope snapping anymore. It's going to turn to now you're all more effective and efficient, and you're therefore you're not eroding your team. You're actually more self-conscious and you're less brittle, and it helps you build powerful habits. So I will say that self-control is not about willpower. It's about instilling control mechanisms that make behavior reliable regardless of that internal state, meaning this, regardless if you're being shot at on the battlefield or you're being yelled at by someone at a traffic stop, or if you are going into a fire, you've instilled those systems. There's no better time to do that than now, left of that problem, than during in the chaos. You can't build that in the chaos. You have to build it prior to the chaos. There was a conflict, and that conflict happened during the Korean War. And we were losing it. We were losing that Korean War. And what the difference was, and I'm not going to get into the nuances about different generals and personalities. You can look it up. And with presidents and generals, there was a whole dynamic going on at that time. I'll say that. But what happened was they realized our ability, our training was eroded. From World War II to the Korean War, it was eroded. And what they learned is that they had to take a step back. Retrain our folks. And that helped us actually get past the 30th parallel and where we were able to pull back to what we know today as the demarcation zone. But I want to say this, is that the U.S. military had to invest in their folks to train. And then recognize first, we have a problem. What is it? Let's train. Folks, we partner with ecosystem builders. If you're in this situation, you need a hire consulting firm, we got them. They could come in, do that analysis, and then help you, advise you on what you need with your input. But with that said, in this circumstance here, it's about establishing the systems prior to the chaos. And if you're in the chaos, this book will help you. But you should probably call us because we'll help you with the right partners as well. So there's 4 levels of executive authority. Now, listen, I'm not going to give you the whole book here in this discussion. I'm only going to cover like 1 or 2 more things that can maybe help you on this journey. But there's also something that's pretty powerful, and we're going to talk about towards the end. It's about a system that can help you in your personal journey of your life. So 4 levels of executive authority: self-controlled under pressure. Folks, when the bombs are bursting either around you or someone's screaming at you, or there, God forbid, there's something going on chaotic in your community. We've all seen it on TV, even today around the world. Emotional regulation separates you. I like to say it separates the pretender from the contender. And it separates you and it makes you stand out amongst your peers. Even more importantly, it helps your organization prevent fracture. So self-control under pressure is key. You've heard it today from Sergeant Q. You've heard it from Paul Bickford Solutions and Q Actual. And we even went through breathing techniques today about how you can slow yourself down and maintain that self-control. And trust me, we all have it. There's chaos in everyone's lives, folks. That's reality. But we have to control it. Then we talk about that decision discipline. That decision discipline is about creating the proper structure, about having the right systems. What's the point of having 10 different meetings if they're not feeding each other? That doesn't make sense. I work for the largest bureaucratic organization in the world, in the US government. And I'm telling you right now that there's tons of systems and tons of meetings from the tactical to the strategic and beyond level. I'm telling you there are. And even there, we have to be cognitive of what those meetings are feeding to the next meeting, to the next switch point, to the next meeting. That's how you run it, a well-oiled machine. So the same goes for your company. If you are, or your business, or your police force, or your fire department, or your own life, if you're having a meeting, it should feed the next meeting. I'm hoping this feeds your soul today and it helps you slow down. That's what I'm hoping this is feeding, Enforcement standards. So what are those standards? What is my personal standard for my life? Do I have, see folks, there's two people in the world, one with a plan and the ones that work for one with a plan. I'm joking, but I'm not. So think about it from this perspective, even daily to-do notes the night before to set the difference of purpose of what you want to accomplish tomorrow. And that is pretty important and pretty impactful. The other thing I will say is by having those standards helps you also be consistent in your business and in your life. So now there's people who have plans, but it means nothing if it's not on their calendar. And that means nothing if not following their calendar. So what I'm saying is, these are some we call it military TTPs. These are just some key insights and things that can help you in your life. Then we have something called behavioral consistency. My brother would always say, what helps keep his self-control is what goes into his body, but also what he does with his spare time. He goes to the gym, he works out. That's what we do in the military every day, right? We have to focus on ourselves. We say we get more accomplished, by 7 a.m. or sometimes 8 a.m. than most people have ever in the world. You'll hear general officers talk about make your bed is the first most important thing you do in life because you've already accomplished more than 70% of the U.S. population. The point is, find out what that is for you and be consistent at it, and find out what it is for your teams and be consistent. And this is what, if you could do this in your people process systems, leveraging the right technology, you could help your organization grow expeditiously, and it will snowball, and you won't lose your people. It's pretty remarkable. So I will tell you that we're looking at an ecosystem built for long-term success, and this is where the Veteran Coaching Network, Valor Ventures Media has partnered on something. And they've actually partnered also with the Business Navigators, which you don't see here, but it's important to know because you can buy this framework off the Business Navigators under their tools, or we're actually partnering with the Veteran Coaching Network for a one-time best price you could ever get this at. And folks, I want to share something with you. So when I serve, we mentor folks. When we talk about a plan and a life, I had to create a 20-year plan. And this plan right here is something that I not only created, I had to create for my family. And I had to create for where I want to be and what I want to do in my milestones of leadership. And what's my family's critical path? What are my kids' ages? What are their critical paths? What are their goals? What do they want to accomplish? What are my big top things for my career? Folks, there's people out there who are having divorces because they're going this way, but their wife or a significant other or spouse is going this way. Well, and some of them are my family members. And I said, I may not have an answer. There's no silver bullet. But can I leverage my skills to help folks be better and more effective? And I said, yes. Well, what else can I do? Well, I can apply this in the discipline code because it's not just for work, it's for your personal life. Well, how do we do this? Well, we came up with something called the Life Command Framework app. In this app, it has a AI life coach mapping 20 years of strategic milestones for high performance and stakes. So why we created it. You know, folks, there's people who say, and there's people who do. And that's what we are. We're doers because we're veterans. We'll believe that behavior helps lead to perfect execution. Perfect execution leads to perfect outcomes lead to evaluation. Now we could talk about this, but keep this in the back of your mind. It's about building trust and predictability. And trust helps you remove that execution drag. And it also helps you build systemization and drives valuation. So your company becomes better. Your family operates better. And it helps you be more present and it helps your company perform much better. So here's the app. Folks, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to show you something I never show. And this is just a quick breakdown, but I'm going to show it to you better. And then this right here is showing you this was the idea. This was my life for 20 years. Every year going back, redoing this. Every year going back, redoing. What are milestones? Well, we created it. And we created it, and we're going to show it to you right now. Pause. 1. And we have different iterations, but we're going to show this to you. Hopefully, you can see this. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to play this out. And it's going to be remarkable. Okay, isn't that a beautiful photo? All right, here we go. This app is a game changer. Folks, I'm telling you, if you're trying to figure out where do I start, if you're trying to figure out where do I even begin when it comes to milestones? Where do I begin when it comes? How do I sync 20 years? I have young kids. I got older kids. You know, how do I do this? Here it is. You don't have to start from scratch because we've created this. And this is where we've leveraged experts in the field. Every day the quote changes. This is the quote: "Families are the compass that guides us." That's been a very important quote in my life. And I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. But that's been important. This is it. Here's your dashboard. And in your dashboard, and I'll zoom out a little bit, just to give you a big depth and breadth. So in the dashboard, we have your family calendar: 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. We have it even more. Check this out. You could build your family's calendar out for the week. You could sync it to all of your calendar systems. Like, this is remarkable, I'm telling you. And then you can even download it if you want to. And you can sync the calendars, you can download it. Let me go back to dashboard. Okay. Also, where am I on my total events? Where are my milestones? Where am I on my upcoming milestones? How am I progressing by my domains? And I'll show you a little more about that in a second. Or how about my recent wins? How am I winning this week? Or how about my family? Am I aligned with my family? Am I not aligned with my family? How's my kids? How's my family? How's their goals? So how are we aligning? What's going on this week, this month, this year? What's going on 1 year? What's our 5 year? What's our 10 year? What's our 20-year outlook? Now you have a system. You can literally sit down with your kids and help coach them to success for the next 20 years. It's amazing. And this is a Gantt style. But maybe you want to talk conceptually. Well, we have something called a mind map. And this is conceptual. You can sit down with each individual and see where they are in the mind map and help them. We have an AI coach built in. The AI coach helping in with the topics you want to identify. So career, education, finance, health, relationships, home. How about your personal growth? Hey, but you know what? That's good, but how am I doing on my goals? Well, that's a good question. AI will sit here and help you in your personal growth. It'll help you review your goals, help you in the alignment, and in your stretch goals. And how am I doing in my 5-year plan? Am I off trajectory? Am I on? See, we believe in the military, you're always issued a compass. That compass is to help you, and it's actually the center of Business Navigators. It helps you navigate. And I took that in the premise of let's navigate business and let's navigate our lives. And a great thing about a compass is that, and this is a key moment and a key point to just kind of to have a word picture. As I go out, and if I'm off even 1 degree, 1 year, it's just a little bit. 3 years, just a little more. 5 years, it's a lot further. 10 years, 15 years, 20 plus years, you could be way off of your trajectory. This here helps you narrow that down. And it gives you the ability to continue to rehone your plan. It's pretty amazing. So here's your career plan, health plan for you, your kids, your family, your spouse, significant others. And I'm about to show you one of the best parts. So one of the best parts is right here. So as you build this and you build it for your entire family, there's a caveat. This is a planning, not a therapist. If you're in crisis, please contact a professional immediately. But this is it. We talk about your strengths, build for the whole family, your stretch goals, but you build it out yourself. Here I am. Here's my partner. Here's my kids. Oh, you have more kids? Let's add them too. Or here's my goals. Right now, you only saw this from the top 3 I showed you. But how about I want more balance in my life? Maybe I want to incorporate faith. Very important. Maybe I incorporate my health. I know my brother would love that one. How about my mindfulness? I think everyone needs a little more of that. Or how about, here's something that's hard. Maybe you're suffering. This is where the Pauls and the Qs tell you, you're in control of your own happiness. But maybe no one's ever helped you with a system to learn how to plan for those moments. Maybe you're going through something. You're like, I need to add joy. Well, add it. And let's make it a purpose in your life. Just like they say in your relationship, if you have gone the whole month and you haven't had a date night, plan for it. Folks, this does you no good. And quite honestly, in life, if you're always green in work, but you're red in your personal life, it's not good. This tool will help you. How about love? How about mindfulness? How about service? How about maybe I want to travel somewhere this year? This is a great opportunity for you to help you become closer with your unit, but also maybe with your friends, maybe with your external family. And look at this. As you plan across your family, your career, your education, your finances, your health, your home, and your personal growth. How about there's constraints? Hey, am I willing to invest in myself? Folks, you have to invest in yourself. You have to. Yes, the gym is part of it, but you need to talk to people. Maybe you invest in groups. Maybe you invest in coaching groups. Maybe you invest in this tool. Maybe you invest in, maybe you have other constraints, time constraints, work hour time constraints. Maybe there's other constraints you have to plan around health. Well, it all goes in here. It's pretty amazing. And I just wanted to share this with you all. You could print it, you could see it. I used to always have a marker board and put it up every week. Copy, paste, put it right on the marker board. Know if you're on trajectory or off trajectory. You have to hold yourself by putting the process in this system into place. So you could control the chaos and be effective in the now. This is a tool I wanted to share with you all. I don't think the slides did you justice. I hope you had a chance to see it. I'm going to talk a little more. I'm going to come back from stop sharing, and I'm going to get to the room. And I want to show you a couple things here. I hope you liked what I showed you. I believe it's going to change the landscape of veterans. It's going to change the landscape of more than veterans, first responders, the folks who are every day putting their life on the line. They're the ones I want to get this tool to first. I think that a lot of times folks are working overtime because they're trying to just focus on their lives and try to put enough bread on the table today. You heard it from Paul today talk about how the job market's not doing well. It's being flooded by more and more, and there's less and less jobs. Well, folks, let's control the chaos. Or folks, I know that you have to work harder today and you're faced with the decision, do I have to lay people off? And that's a hard weight on your shoulder. Well, here's a tool that can maybe help you eliminate some of the noise. And get this, I'm giving it to you for free today if you buy my book, The Discipline Code. If you want to buy the tool, $350, it's yours. It's yours, $350. I'll sell to you right now. But if you buy the book, only the first 20 people that buy my book for $55 again this tool, the first 55 purchasers. If you want to upgrade, you want to join our Master Coaching Accelerator that's hosted by the Veteran Coaching Network, only for the first 20 folks who are willing to invest in themselves, invest in their families, invest in their personal networks, invest in their, maybe be more present at the work, $349. And guess what? By them showing up to the Master Coaching Accelerator, every month we're doing a book drop. Every month we're voting, we're taking their considerations, and we're letting them pick the books, and we're doing a book drop. And we have over 2,000 white labeled and books right now. If they want to learn how to do a podcast, control their financial, get in AI, or maybe get in crypto, anything, maybe start their own business, maybe get an MBA in a box. Folks, I could keep going. $349 only for the first 20 members. After this, it's $849. And that's only for the next 25 members. Then it goes to $849 a month. You have to decide, is this the right time? I think the answer is yes. If that means you have a less coffee and maybe you drink less beer, that's up to you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you where to invest your money, but I am going to sit here and tell you that the return on the investment of that coffee, the return on the investment of that beer, or the alcohol, or maybe going out, this is it for you today. Also, we're going to continue the special and deal in those groups where the other series, other books and the workbooks are coming out. And by the way, folks, wait till you hear this. Not only do you get the discipline code, the book, not only do you get the command, welcome to Life Map in the command, you're getting a video. And this video is going to walk you through a map of how you can implement it, the secrets in the system. I like to call it the secret sauce. Not only that, you're getting a VIP webpage fully built out. It's like 40 pages. It's like me sitting next to you times 20 of me saying, hey, let me walk you through the book step by step by step by step by step by step, because we all learn differently. I taught at the university level, multiple universities. And more importantly, I've been at the tactical to the operational to strategic level and the Fortune level and the entrepreneur, voted Veteranpreneur of the Year for Indiana for 2025. And I'm telling you, we all learn differently. We all receive differently. And so we built this in different ways. And you're not on your own. Join our community. Join the Master Coaching Accelerator for discussions, for fireside chats, for morning coffee chats. And you're getting the discipline code and operating system for executive authority, mind map. And there's more. Folks, I believe in taking care of our community. So yes, I'm not listing out everything because you're going to get more. And our community is doing the monthly book drops, coaching technique shares, discounted tools, and access to coaches that will come in and talk like they did at the Veteran Coaching Network. And if we do pop-ups across the US, maybe in Kansas, maybe in Atlanta, maybe in Connecticut, maybe in Tennessee, maybe in Florida, maybe everywhere we do pop-ups, you're going to get first access. When we do this pop-ups, meet us at a coffee, let's talk. Hey, meet us over here, let's talk. And you'll have access to those pop-ups. We also partner with other organizations. One of the organizations is called Founders in Ventures Alliance, where we help invest in veteran-owned businesses. You'll have access to those pop-ups and those venture capitalists as well. So when you purchase this, you'll receive the Command Life Suite tool for free for the first 20 people. You'll get 2 bonuses. You'll get more. Only for the first 20. So you can apply these principles every day. So you could transform your life from being reactive in leadership into reliability, authority. You can be more present. You can be more executive. And if you're interested, you could book a strategic consultation with me personally. I'm telling you, this is a very discounted rate for $99. And it's only for our network, only for the folks who invest into the Veteran Coaching Network, we offer this for. Otherwise, folks, do you remember each one of those speakers today charged $1,200 for the hour. $1,200. They get paid $20,000 to speak on these stages. You could book that call for $99 today. And in the survey, you tell us why and who you want to speak with. And you can get that premium rate for 30 minutes with them, and it will help you with maybe your roadmap. You also have time to install these. Remember, left of the crisis. We've already given this out, and this is where we are, folks. So if you are interested, I'll tell you, as simple as going to the veterancoachingnetwork.com, go to summit.veterancoachingnetwork, and once you go to the summit.veterancoachingnetwork, I gotta find my last. Once you go to the summit.veterancoachingnetwork, you click the add-on and you can purchase the book there. Folks, please like us on the Veteran Coaching Network. Please like, subscribe, share. We're always trying to build a team. We grew 33% from last month. We want to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing with your help. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. We love having you. We continue to serve with you in the next chapters of our lives. See you soon.